welcome back to the Meeple Marathon. Today I'm going to show you how I have reboxed everything back into Tidal Blades. Now, a few caveats before we get started here. One is that I do not have the miniatures box, but that is a separate box in and of itself. It even continues the artwork here on the core box. I do, however, have the Immortal box. So the Immortal box holds all of the cards once they are sleeved. So if you purchase the sleeves, they should come in this box, and they don't quite fit in the core box, I guess, although I feel like they could. So I will be discussing how I would have probably tried to fit all this in there had I not had this box. But two things I just wanted to point out here are these two little secret envelopes. They fit nicely over here, tucked behind the kind of goal cards here. And then there's a few other kind of additional content cards. I'm assuming that most of what's in here is more cards anyways, so they're just kind of in here with the other cards. Otherwise, there's a lot of gap right here, leading to the cards to fall over a lot. So if you don't put them in there, you may want to find a piece of foam or something to stick in there. But all right, so there's the Immortal box. Everything's all sleeved up and ready to go. So everything we have in here is all of the content, including the bonus Kickstarter content, minus the cards. So rule book on top, basically all the flat stuff is going to be here on top. And then here, this is from the Kickstarter content, some of the maps. I haven't punched these yet. I'm gonna probably won't until I get around to actually, playing these scenarios. So right here, I have, I had the bag that the plastic that these came in, and it just kind of got torn up pretty easily. So I had this bag from a previous game. I don't ever get rid of them. The only drawback to these is they're not on a pad, so they're just kind of loose. I would advise keeping them in a bag if possible. All right, we've got our scenario book then sitting on top of all of our map books. Again, these can all go back in here in any which way, but I tried to, push this spine all the way to this side, so that it left a little gap for that spine. Spread these out, so there's room to do that. And then here, just kind of spaced out the flat stuff as best I could. So I'm keeping this for right now because it provides a good support for things like this. Now, one important thing to note is that this side, the stuff sticks up slightly higher than the edge of this. I'll show you what's in here in just a second. But these, mainly two items here, the MapBook C and the thing used to place under MapBook C, fit nicely just to the other side of that. So it helps create more of a flush surface for everything. All right. Now, if I were to be putting my cards in here, I would probably aim to put my gold cards in one of these instead of having necessarily all of this in like plastic bins. Still would probably use this side for things like standees and other tokens, dice, stuff like that. And then I would probably have all of my main cards right here in 2 rows. I'm not quite sure whether or not how they would all fit in here, because the Immortal box is as long as this is, and there's a whole line of those, but then they are sleeved. So maybe all of them would fit on one side, but then they would just kind of slide around. Again, I thought the Immortal box was nice because it gave me a place to store those cards, and I'm happy with it. So anyways, let's talk about what I've done here. I have taken, this is a 5x7 photo box. You can get these just about any craft store, Michael's, Hobby Lobby, things like that. I buy them in cases of, I think it's like 24 at a time. They come in really handy. They're a good size. So the majority of the larger standees are in this box. Then the smaller ones are in this smaller box. I'll put a link to these. I can put a link to both of them in the video description. These are from Amazon. They come in very handy. They come in various sizes. Many companies make them. They're usually pretty cheap. They come in pretty handy. So that is all of the standees contained in here. One thing I didn't see in the box, and I checked around, they didn't give any plastic baggies, which I'm okay with. Some stuff already came in plastic baggies, but they didn't give you any additional plastic baggies for things like these. So I don't know if they were just intending for you to have them loose in one of these larger areas, but we'll see. So obviously things like the dice, I combined these dice into here, and I've got all the standees right there in that bag. This bag here, I have all of the Shell Shield Reservoir upgrades. They didn't quite fit super well. It was kind of awkward getting them in and out. And so I just took one of the baggies that I didn't need from, say, these or something like that, and threw them in that baggie. All right, over here on this side, on the bottom, I have all of the hero boards, so the 4 hero boards. Then I got one of my standard storage bins here that I use in all of my stuff. And then I've got some of the other smaller flat stuff that just kind of fits on top of it because there is room right there. What we have in here is pretty much all of the content we're going to need throughout the game. So we'll open this up, set it off to the side, and we've got our shell shields ready to go. I did go ahead and put the cardboard version ones underneath. It just raises up these. You could leave them in there or not. It's up to you, but here's the fruit. These are the trackers for the health of the enemies. And beneath that is all of the little initiative tokens for all of the enemies. Not the heroes, but just the enemies underneath. Here I've got some other random tokens. These 2 dice are for boss battles. Here we've got some of the scenario-specific stuff. So that's why these 2 items are not in the brown bag. These are scenario-specific items, some bombs, again, scenario-specific items, and then a mixture of your status effects here that are very easy to distinguish and pull out. I had them all spread out in their own thing, but they were mostly empty, and it seemed silly to take up that much room. So, again, I'll put a link in the description below for these. I can get these, you know, get these at Walmart. They're essentially Plano boxes, but you can find them cheaper at places like Walmart, Hobby Lobby, Michael's, things like that. All right, these 2 bags come with the game. And so this is going to contain all your items. They're in there already. And this is going to contain all of your like bonus chips for when you defeat an enemy. Those will go onto the board. So that stuff's already in there. And then the last thing is the upgrade pack. So this has all the miniatures. I have kept it as is, except I took out the fruit and the shells on this side. And let me show you what I did here. I think this is going to be helpful with all the small pieces. So there's 4 baggies in here, 4 small baggies, each with exactly what a hero will need to place onto their hero board that you can see down below. So all of these little circles here are going to have these dots in them. The white ones are blockers. So they're going to show you where your maximum is. And then there's, you know, 1 for each type of color. So there's 4 of these. But then you can see there's actually 6, wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yeah, 6 heroes. This little guy here is like a companion. So there's 6 heroes you could play with at any given time, but only 4 people can have a player board. So these don't get their own bags. These don't go into the bags. These are the initiative tokens and the little kind of specialty. These are to track your goals and things like that, that each match a color. So like, you know, this guy is green. Duster here is yellow, I think. So that stuff sits underneath with the lid, and with these, they're not going to fall out or roll around or anything like that. And that way, basically, when you decide, all right, is that all 4? No. All right, here I'm going to play. Who am I going to play as? What characters am I going to play as? You can choose your miniature. You give the person one of these packets, and then underneath that, you're going to give them their initiative token and their little special wooden tokens. So I thought that was a good way to utilize this little space right here. And that's it. Again, there's a ton of cards in the game, not a whole lot else. And obviously, if you have the miniatures box, your miniatures are going to end up in that box. You're not going to try and be fitting them in here. So as I'm closing things out here, I'm just going to kind of do this in reverse to show you how it all fits back in. But again, it's pretty straightforward. And there's a lot of extra space here. So you could easily... do something similar to this if you didn't have the Immortal box and didn't have the sleeved cards, and have your cards in here. I have the box, so I'm going to make use of it for now. One of these. Yeah, this guy went up there. There we go. Now everything's nice and flat and flush. And again, the key here is that this sticks up just a little bit. So we're going to take these two items here, and they fit just nicely to the left there, creating this nice flat surface for the rest of the stuff. I guess you could go ahead and start putting on the maps now and keep these on top. I don't know if this will end up denting it in the end, but everything seems pretty flat. Like, there's not much give on these sides. We'll keep this, I guess, off to the side there. Those on top, everything's nice and flat. Boom, and rule book. So there we go. That is my reboxing video for Tidal Blades 2. Hopefully this gave you some ideas of how you can store your game to keep it nice and organized and make it set up quick and easy, break down quick and easy, and keep everything nice and tidy. If you have any questions, please feel free to let me know in the comment section below. Otherwise, thanks for watching. Have a great day.